Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Hyundai Venue Facelift. But before we reach this car, let me tell you about this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve Gel Can Carbon Black, which is a spicy, cool, manly fragrance. In fact, it smells like a aftershave. Yeah, like a cologne. Very refreshing inside this car. Now straight away, what you're going to do is going to turn on this car with the key, because it's got this function of turning on the car by pressing a button. There we press it. And how much time does it take to roll? Because the thing is, the outside rear view mirror is actually opened, but this feature is a hit or a miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not work. Let me turn off the car and let me press it again. I actually practiced this before the start of this video, and now it's turning on, and there, yeah, it rose to life. So yes, this feature does work for the most part. Let's open the hood straight away. Lights and everything are on, of course. And let's talk about the changes to the Hyundai Venue Facelift. For starters, the front has been updated. Okay, you get this dark chrome grille, which actually looks quite nice. Yeah, I like the way this dark chrome grille looks, but obviously on white color it looks even better. Now there's a bulb here which is for the indicator, and that's it, one bulb. Disappointing that it does not get all LEDs, and the car has turned off again. So it automatically turns on and off depending on how it feels like. So we're going to turn it on, and there, yeah, now it's turned on, and that air purifier always makes that sound. So anyways, like I was telling you, these are not all LED lights. This is LED now, the projector, but this is a bulb, and a DRL is also LED. But they have actually removed the fog lights because they think that LED projector will take care of it. Now the bumper has been revised as well. There is a towing hook here. Let's straight away open the engine bay of this vehicle, and there you can see CRDI 16 valve, but shockingly there's no insulation here. Yeah, that would have helped for sure. In terms of the design, it definitely looks better in person, but I don't really understand why Hyundai has actually removed the fog lights from this car. Coming to the side of the vehicle, everything looks more or less the same. It's a sub 4 meter car obviously, but the alloy wheel design has been changed. These are diamond cut wheels. 215/60/16 is the size of the tires, and this has been added, which is new. I think some revisions to the roof rails as well. Request sensor here, not there on the other side. And at the rear, it might remind you of the Volkswagen Tiguan as well as the Kia Sonet, because it's got this light bar which connects both the tail lights, and that light bar only lights up when you turn on the light at night. Under braking, it does not light up. Again, some revisions here as well. This is the reverse light. These are reflectors. Rear parking sensors. There is a reverse parking camera. Says venue right there. SX is the trim, of course, and you can see the indicator. So yeah, not all LED here either. High mounted stop lamp as well. You get a rear wiper washer. Let's open the boot straight away. Now the boot is the same size as before. However, spare wheel is not an alloy. It's actually 195/65/15, smaller sized wheel. Boot space might reduce slightly when you recline the seat, because obviously now it gets a recline function as well. Where is the exhaust of the vehicle? Well, it's on the other side. I believe there is the exhaust. Now the good thing is that Hyundai has actually worked on the rear seat to improve the levels of comfort. So the seat base has been increased slightly for better under thigh support. This has been scooped massively for better knee room. There's a magazine holder here. Door pockets are decent size, but the car is full of hard plastics, of course. Now this is upright. It gets a 2-step recline as well for added comfort, and it really works because the seat has a very nice recline angle. Okay, look at the kind of recline it has. And you know what, headroom is actually decent for someone as tall as me. There's a handle here, okay, and 2 USB-C charging sockets have been added. Air purifier here, we just shut it for the moment. Press it once again. Yeah, once again, Faisal. Yeah, there it shuts. Massively scooped out. No magazine holder on this side though, and this obviously folds in 60/40, so you can like fold this to increase the boot carrying capacity. Center passenger does not get a head because there's no headrest there. Okay, you get twin cup holders and a center armrest, of course. But you know what, under thigh support has actually improved from before. Still not the best, but it's actually better than before. Dashboard design looks very similar to before. However, certain features have been added in this car just to improve the overall VFM quotient. Anyways, let's get outside, and yeah, I'm happy that there's slightly more space here because of this scooped outness. And you know what, because there's good amount of space here below the seat, you can put your foot below the front seat. So again, some amount of space there as well, but it's not the most spacious car in the segment. Obviously it's a sub 4 meter car, but packaging is very nicely done. Now let's get inside here. Okay, now these are the controls for the power windows, and they kind of look illuminated, so that's another change. Door pockets are decent sized at the front, but yeah, a lot of hard plastics everywhere. Now it gets a 4-way adjust for the driver's seat, electric adjust, which means that you can move the angle of the seat and you can move it ahead or behind as well, but you have to manually do the height adjust. Yeah, they could have added that as well. And Hyundai said that customers prefer this over ventilated seats. I kind of disagree. I think ventilated seats over this would be a better addition. This is where the fuse box goes, I mean OBD and everything. Now this is the headlight leveler, this is for traction control, this is the engine start button. But ironically, the driver rear view monitor seems to have vanished. There's this button which has been added for the air purifier, which just makes it easier to use the air purifier. Yeah, that is a good addition for sure. Seats are very comfortable and very nice. It is art leather or leatherette, which is artificial leather or fake leather. Okay, and you know what? This is fabric in the center. Comfort levels are good. I like the way the seats have been done. And this D-cut steering wheel has been actually added with the sport variant of the Venue earlier on itself, which is from the Creta, of course. Let's shut the door. Yeah, proper thud sort of makes that sound. Let's turn off the hazards. Now what do you see new? Well, this 8-inch screen has been updated because now it's slicker, it's better. There's also a valet mode. You can get into settings, because when you get into vehicle, you can actually change quite a few things, like the color of the cluster. Now the turbo model also gets drive modes. So here you don't get a key slot. Instead, you get the drive mode rotary knob, which lets you change between 3 drive modes, which we'll talk about when we're driving the turbo. And the cluster's color also changes. You can pair it here. So there are 3 themes actually. So this is theme B, this is theme A, and this is theme C. So yeah, you get colors here. And this instrument cluster is quite nice. You get a compass, you get a tire pressure monitor, and then you get the usual bits here. Now this is kind of inspired from the Kia Carens. Meanwhile, buttons feel really nice to operate. So these are actually the controls for operating that multi-information display. This is for cruise control, I believe, and these are the controls for the audio system. These are the controls for the wipers. Let's use them right away. Good amount of spray on offer. Let's open the sunblind of the sunroof. In fact, let's open the sunroof itself, and there it opens. It's a decent size sunroof. It's not very big nor too small either. Press it once again to open it any further. Yeah, that's decent. And you get a mirror here. You do not get any mirror on the driver's side. Of course, this is not auto dimming. You have to manually dim it. And these are the controls for the connected car thingy, which is Blue Link, obviously, which has been updated, which has I think around 60 plus features now. It has got 65 voice commands as well. Now this screen is much better to operate when compared to before. We are going to get into reverse, and there is the reverse parking camera. Resolution is fine, could have been slightly better though. And buttons are here. Some physical buttons have been given. Air conditioning works like a charm. Climate control air conditioning display is there itself. Let's just shut it, and you've got a USB-C has been added, and a 12-volt charging socket is also there. By the way, there's a wireless charging pad here. Now let me just open this amazing car perfume from Involve Your Senses, which means that I'll have to struggle to do it with one hand. So here, yeah. Okay, now the best thing is that during monsoons now, the car gets damp and starts smelling, but this perfume really helps in neutralizing that smell with its citrusy blast. Here, very easy to regulate. Look at me regulating it, and then it perfectly fits in right here. In fact, there are 2 cup holders. This thing obviously opens the front center armrest, which is not really big. The glove box gets a cooling function where I've been able to put my GoPro mount as well, so that's decent size. There's some space here as well from where actually the ambient light comes, so it gets this blue colored ambient lighting as well, and there are hard plastics in plenty of places. But yeah, the dashboard looks quite appealing because it's got this dual tone treatment now, so it's black and beige, so sort of greyish treatment, grey also around. So yeah, dashboard looks quite appealing, I must admit. Steering feels really nice to hold. The horn is okay. It is not that amazing. It gets automatic headlights as well, and obviously rear wiper washer and all those things. The regular bits which you expect are obviously there, but ventilated seats would have been a nice addition. Here you can get into navigation. It has quite a lot of features in the system itself, and yeah, okay, let me go through this quickly. So Apple CarPlay, Android Auto connectivity, and along with that, the best thing is that it's become more fluid to use. It's like a really nice system. They've also added sounds of nature, so let's listen to those. So that's a new feature addition. In fact, you can also record your audio. Okay, this is the map bit thingy. Okay, you can also record your audio. There's something known as voice memo here. So yeah, voice recording, just in case you want to take some notes and all that stuff. Audio quality is actually decent enough. Let's listen to an audio. Audio quality is actually decent. Hello, Blue Link. Is it going to rain tomorrow?
Yes, it should start raining tomorrow in Hyderabad. TS.
Hello, Blue Link. I want to see the sky.
Opening the sunroof.
So quite a lot of these features actually work without internet connectivity, so that it doesn't end up making a pop-out of you when you're with your friends and when you want to show off and there's no internet connectivity. So that's another change which Hyundai has done on this car to make it just so much better than before. Anyways, let's start driving right away. Alright, we are all set to go, which means first and foremost, let's turn off the air conditioning, handbrake down, traction control off into first gear. Let's change this theme to blue. I think blue would look better. Let's get out of this, put maps, because why not? Anyways, revving the motor, it revs till 5100 RPM when the clutch is on or in neutral, and first gear 5100 RPM. Second gear 5100 RPM, and you require a shift to third to get to 100 kilometers per hour. This engine is extremely smooth, very refined, and driving this car is so effortless because the steering is on the lighter side, the size is small, and making a quick turn no problem at all because the suspension is on the stiffer side. The steering wheel seems to have improved, so then when you corner, yeah, it tends to wash out the front, so understeer is obviously present, but handling seems to have improved from before, and so has the steering wheel, which feels more engaging. It doesn't feel as loose. Again, it is not a very dynamic car in that sense, but still it is actually decently fun to drive. I would not call it extremely fun to drive, but sure-footed driving manners without a doubt now. So when you are cornering, you can hear the tires screech in protest, but this engine is actually a gem. This is a 1.5 liter diesel engine, which I think they call it the U2. It's obviously BS6 compliant. It produces 100 horsepower and 240 Newton meters of torque, and is paired to only a 6-speed manual gearbox. There is no automatic on offer yet. Braking performance, there you saw. Braking performance is good, but then little bit panicking as well under very heavy braking. Revving the motor. Before that, I think we should go and change the cluster color, because why not? And I kind of find it easy to reach it so fast without having to think twice. Red looks very nice indeed. Let's get into maps. Revving the motor. Okay. Some amount of wheel spin. So this engine has very little negligible turbo lag, that also below 1500 RPM. Around 1500 RPM, it starts with its linear push and then pulls nice and strong. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 13.5 seconds, which is decently quick. It's not very fast, but it's quick enough. But because you're riding the torque rush all the time, you honestly find this car to be very nice and fun to drive, because this engine does not disappoint. Now, pulling it in the top end is absolute pointless, because beyond 3,500 RPM, this engine doesn't have much to offer. It just declines in terms of the grunt. So low end is good, mid range is the best, and top end is lacking, of course. Engine is super refined. You can barely hear a thing. You can only start hearing things when you get into the top end of the rev range. That is the level of refinement. And when I actually started this car in the morning, it was showing around 937 kilometers on one tank of fuel. That's absolutely insane. That's like very efficient. But in the real world, it will return between 15 to 18 kilometers per liter, which again is fantastic fuel efficiency. I like the way this car is neutral in terms of the way it drives. It's oriented towards comfort, but initial ride is a bit on the stiffer side, and then it starts to smoothen out to an extent wherein, you know what, high speed stability is absolutely fantastic, and even is the high speed ride of this car. So slight ride issues only at very low speeds, but Hyundai has actually worked on all these parameters to improve all this. The clutch is extremely well calibrated, quite light as well. The gearbox is super slick shifting as well, and now I've come into 5th gear directly. Now we are into 6th. Let's see what does the RPM meter say when we reach 100 kilometers per hour. So yeah, I'm full on the throttle, below 1500 RPM. It's not having the boost, but beyond that, it'll start pulling strongly, and there it's going again and again and again. Come on, car. By the way, the price of this particular model, 15,08,000 rupees. Okay, I've already crossed 100. I didn't even realize, because once boost comes in, it comes in real quickly. So here, 100 kilometers per hour, 1800 RPM. So you can chill, relax, and cruise in 6th gear. So 15 lakh 8,000 rupees is the cost of this car on road Mumbai for the top end diesel, which is the most expensive as well. There are no drive modes here. Drive modes are there only on the turbo petrol automatic, not even on the manual. So here, honestly, if you're planning to get a Venue, diesel is unparalleled. It is unmatched. It is so good. It's just unbelievably awesome. I love the diesel. I do. Now you can hear a lot because I'm pulling it in the higher end of the rev range, but for the most part, insulation levels are good. They could have put that insulation thing, inside the hood to just reduce the overall sound slightly. But yeah, they kind of missed out on that. Somehow the diesel feels better to drive than the petrol because the front end is obviously stiffer and they have some added weight there. And I think it's time we switch to the turbo petrol. Now the turbo petrol is obviously fantastic in terms of performance because it produces quite a lot of grunt. In fact, this engine is producing 120 horsepower and 172 Newton meters of torque. All of this is coming from a puny sized 1 liter 3-cylinder engine, which is ironically extremely refined. Yeah, it's quite smooth and refined, which you would not expect it to be, but you don't feel the 3-cylinderness at all. Only at certain revs you can feel that, a little bit of thrum from a 3-cylinder engine, but for the most part, extreme smoothness, extreme refinement from this engine. Very well calibrated gearbox as well, and this is a DCT box, which Hyundai claims they have actually revised, and no, this is the newer generation of the DCT box, which offers slightly faster shifts, more smoothness and all that, and you can feel that when you're driving it full throttle like I am right now, then you can feel that. But for the most part, it's very similar to the older gearbox, which is extremely good. The only thing is this engine has some amount of turbo lag, so you have to wait for the boost to come in, and then it doesn't have the kick in the pants feel. Power delivery is very linear. In the top end, it becomes a bit noisy. You can call it sporty, you can call it noisy, you can call it whatever you feel like, but I like the engine. I think it's a very nice, smooth engine. Yeah, come on, there, the response comes and it pulls. Now this 1 liter engine is paired to either a 6-speed IMT gearbox, which is the clutchless manual, which I honestly don't like, or the 7-speed dual clutch DCT gearbox, which is very nice with shifts. There are paddle shifters as well, but it won't give you manual control of things at all. It will upshift when it feels like, so that's a bit of a disappointment. There's no manual control of things. Even Maruti's AMT gearboxes give you that manual control, so that should have been offered here. Okay, downshift, 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 so that's nice. And then I can slot the gearbox to the right side to get into sport mode for the gearbox, and there are 3 drive modes. But before that, let's just stop here. Yeah, sure-footed brakes. And now what you're going to do is we're going to go into sport for the gearbox. The drive mode is obviously into sport. Traction control off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. Now here's the thing, a DCT box does not take off. And because of this slow takeoff now, it kind of robs almost, no, it does rob almost half a second on takeoff. So this could do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour under 12 seconds, but it takes around 12 and a half seconds, which is around 1 second faster than the diesel, only because the car just will not launch, and that has been done intentionally to ensure that it does not screw with, 1 second, understeer is in plenty in this car, so it does not screw up the gearbox over longer launches. That's the reason they have intentionally dialed it down so as to not, burn the clutches. So it works very well, this dual clutch gearbox. There's no denying that fact. And if you're looking to buy the turbo one, or rather if you're looking to buy petrol Venue, this is the one to get, the one with the DCT gearbox, the one with the turbo. The NA engine is the one which is going to sell the most, because most people would not care about performance. That produces just 83 horsepower. It's not very quick, it's not very fun, but gets the job done. It is more efficient than this engine when you drive it aram se. I mean, can you hear the sound? Okay, I'm saying that this engine is more efficient than the regular NA 1.2 liter engine when you drive it aram safe. When you pull this engine hard now, it drinks much more, because that's how a turbo works. Feed in more fuel, feed in more air, and give you performance, but at the cost of fuel efficiency. So this will return somewhere between 9 to 14 kilometers per liter, but the diesel is the most efficient without a doubt, and this one costs 4,000 less than the top end diesel, this particular variant. So this is 15,04,000 rupees, and there are 3 drive modes on offer now. Okay, it says drive mode not available, shift to D. So in sport mode, I cannot shift the drive mode. That's kind of weird. So when I'm in eco and I slot this into right, it automatically gets into sport. That's kind of weird. So here in eco mode, it obviously changes the map. It doesn't have the same level of throttle response. It's more geared towards efficiency in eco mode. And then there's the regular normal mode, which is a blend of efficiency as well as sport, in which, sorry, it's not really sport. I mean, it's mid-level performance. Eco और sport का mix. Eco sport का mix क्या होता है? पता नहीं, फोटो चला गया इंडिया से. Anyways, yeah, I can feel the difference in the performance. By the way, this car has also got puddle lamps on the outside rear view mirrors, which is also a nice addition. And do you like the blue cluster or the teal or the red one? I think red one looks the best. So handling is actually better in the diesel somehow. The diesel also has a better steering, maybe because of the added weight. They've stiffened up things, which gives it slightly better overall handling ability. And now you can't hear a thing. It's so refined. In fact, it idles at 800 RPM. We are going to get into sport mode straight away. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Revving the motor. Doesn't rev now. That's the problem. There you can see the acceleration. So basically there's 16 variants on offer, and the price it starts at 8.86 lakhs for the base variant of the Venue on-road Mumbai, and goes all the way to 15 lakh 8,000 for the top end variant of the Venue, which happens to be the diesel, of course. I would say that the changes have made the Venue more appealing than before, without a doubt, and this turbo petrol engine with a manual gearbox would be so awesome. It actually upshifts between 6 to 6,500 RPM depending on which gear you are in. This thing RPM changes accordingly, that where it wants to upshift. Anyways, it doesn't feel as dynamic as the diesel. I'm quite surprised. It doesn't feel ready to, commit to a corner with the same level of aggression. That front end the front end does not have the same level of, how do I put it, feel, feedback and communication somehow, because it's slightly softer. The ride is slightly better though at lower speeds of the turbo petrol when compared to the diesel. The diesel has better high speed stability, but then the difference is not that big as such. Anyways, coming here, should we try the handbrake drift? Why not? The car is not dynamic enough to, it just does not let me do it like other cars. Hyundai's kind of dialed that down to make sure that people do not ruin the tires by drifting and stuff, but this is not the car meant for that. This car is purely meant for someone who wants a lot of tech, and this is so loaded. It has got home to car with Alexa and Google Assistant. You can do a lot of things with the Venue, of course, the new Venue, and that's something which is really well appreciated because people want tech, and this is very well loaded in that regard. It's a connected car which has a lot of connected features. So if you're looking for a connected car with plenty of features, this is the car to buy. Good engines, good balance of ride and handling, easy to drive, and good quality as well. Like overall, I feel fit finish levels are good. Only thing, hard plastics are there, but that's something which can be ignored. So guys, this is my vlog of the Hyundai Venue facelift. I would say get the diesel eyes closed. Okay, fuel efficiency matters, and that torque rush and better handling, all that really contributes to fun driving ability. And if you haven't yet bought it, well, you can click on the top right banner here, to get this amazing car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve Gel Can Carbon Black. Use coupon code FASTBEAM for a 10% discount. Bye bye.